Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, I got it. Okay, I think it's working now. Holy shit. Yep, there it is. I have. I don't know why my screen blacked out there. Other than like maybe the fact that like I didn't touch my mouse in a while. Um, let's see here. Restart. Okay. Let's see here. I had to change the title slightly. All right. So hold on a sec. Had to start another one. Screen went black. All right. Damn. I don't know what happened there, man. Yeah, are we back? Yeah, we're back. We're back. Rip the racist YouTube mods. Finally got Stoline's channel. Good night, sweet prince. Okay. All right. Yeah. I guess we're back. Sort of. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see here. Does the hey, can you talk for a second?
hello.
Okay. Yeah. No, we're good. All right. Well, I guess let's continue. There we go.
Anything regarding Elder Scrolls 6. After New Vegas, it took Bethesda 5 years to come out with Fallout 4, a product that was very polarizing amongst the Fallout fanbase, and then 76 releases. Do you see this decline? It's this complacency, this lack of desire to innovate and create new things that has led to some of our favorite game companies releasing new games far more infrequently. And when they do, it's either something you don't care about or it's just another sequel. Despite nearly every single game company falling.
What's wrong with a sequel to a property?
Uh,
It's like we still got like New Vegas, which is a sequel. If you want to put it in a technical sense, is the sequel to Fallout 2. It's the real Fallout 3. It's like, and it was a really fucking great game with 4 fucking great DLC. It's like, the fuck are you on about? It's like Fallout 2 is basically Fallout 1 with more shit you can do in it. It innovated despite it pretty much being an exact same game to 1 on the same exact platform with just new shit in it that you could do. With a new story and everything. It's a sequel. What's the fucking problem with that?
let's see here. This guy was saying Fallout 4 was polarizing. Yeah.
Polarizing in what way?
Uh,
It's like you can't just say shit like that and be like, everyone be like, yeah. It's like you need to be a bit more specific there. It's like, I'm not disagreeing with you, but like,
yeah, no, I mean, if you want to get into it, like, I guess I'll elaborate. I think he did a video on Fallout 4, but Fallout 4's writing was absolutely fucking no.
oh yeah, no, it was terrible.
Like the writing in Fallout 4 was absolutely fucking terrible. That's like the biggest one of the probably the biggest thing about it. I mean, I heard that the gunplay was really nice.
Well, yeah, that's id made the gunplay, not Bethesda.
Yeah, but the gunplay was fucking great. But the
Yeah.
writing was absolute shit. All right, let's keep going, I guess.
And prey to complacency, almost none of this applies to Nintendo, who have stuck to their roots and continue to evolve and release new games that blow us away. Nintendo is still doing things the old-fashioned way and making a shit ton of money, while these other game companies are doing things the easy way. Because if it's broken but makes a shitload of money, why fix it? The abundance of remakes.
I mean, not wrong, but it's kind of weird to say that, like, it's kind of weird to say that after he talks about like the sequel thing. It's like, well, it was a sequel to like Fallout 3. I'm like, okay, or New Vegas or whatever. I'm like, that's not necessarily bad. Like, you can try and make the argument of like not wanting to put forth the effort of you know, making a new IP or doing something with an IP you haven't done much with, and instead you just play it the easy way by just making a sequel. I'm like, okay, I mean, that I guess that's a fair point to make. Like, that is inherently kind of lazy, but then again, like, you bring up Nintendo, and I'm like, yeah, Nintendo makes another Mario game. I'm like, but every like Mario game is like drastically different, like 3D Mario.
Yeah, where's my fucking custom Robo sequel? I want my fucking custom Robo game. It's been it's been how many years since the last custom Robo came out? It was 2004, 2006. What the fuck, man?
Well,
It's like the
Custom
last
Robo
time
is rotted on the fucking GameCube, man. That game is like $120 on eBay.
Yeah, because it was a really fucking good game. I bought it when it was like $12.
Do you still have it?
Yes.
Lucky bastard. Yeah, no, I haven't played it, but I heard it was like, was it like a
What
good
is wrong
four-player
with
game?
you?
Is it a good four-player game?
It is a great 4-player game.
Yeah. Let's see. This guy says, yeah, but like Nintendo isn't making a lot of games right now. Debatable. Very debatable. Like, look at that Switch library, dude. I'm just saying. We got the sequel to Mario and Rabbids, I guess. Nintendo didn't make that one. Ubisoft is making that one.
We all know how great Ubisoft is as a game developing company.
Yeah, but no, like you had Mario 64, and then you had Sunshine, all right, and then you had Galaxy 2, and
don't forget the Mario Party one, Stone.
We're not talking about the. I mean, we're talking about.
Yeah,
just,
but
like,
Mario Party is like the hot shit, man.
apparently, and then you had Odyssey on the Switch. Like, people fucking love every single one of those games. I guess you couldn't say that, like...
Don't forget Paper Mario.
Yeah, Paper Mario.
They have multiple games of like similar properties on multiple platforms.
Yeah, it's like, you could say, it's like, well, like, you know, Odyssey isn't a sequel to, like, you know, Galaxy or whatnot, but it's like another 3D Mario game. But, like, it's, you know, they always, like, try to do something, like, radically different with every single one. Mario Party 9, oh, don't even... I have every single Mario Party on my game shelf. I played Mario Party 9 a lot, like, to try and like it. It was not good. It wasn't good. So I guess now we're getting into the point. This is gonna be one where I'm gonna get pissed off, and it's not because of anything that he says. It's because the way that, or just like re-releases in general, and not just remakes and remasters. But we'll get into that. Oh shit! Fuck.
And remasters. It's a fact that gaming has followed certain trends throughout.
See, and there's my fucking custom Robo music. There it is. You tease me, Act Man. It's like you're self-aware. It's like Nintendo isn't following this philosophy. It's like they haven't made a new custom Robo game since 2004. Oh, actually, no, it's 2010. They made it on the DS, but it's like I want it on like an actual, like proper game console, like the fucking Switch.
The years you had
They're putting fucking Shin Megami Tensei on the fucking Switch, for God's sakes.
arcades where you paid quarters for entertainment. In the NES days, it was all about side-scrolling platformers. The SNES and Sega Genesis were all about graphics. Eventually, we had online gaming, rhythm games, battle royale. So many trends have come and gone. Some have stayed, but occasionally a certain style of game is perceived as no longer profitable or appealing to the mainstream. 3D platformers, for instance, have long fallen out of favor outside of Mario. In this case, instead of developing a brand new game in a genre that's considered dead, companies will choose to remaster or remake their old ones. And would you look at that, they become hella popular. Who would have thought? Spyro Reignited and Insane Trilogy were incredible remasters. And since those were so successful, don't you think people would be even more happy to see a brand new game?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna time out the one guy again. Just gonna go ahead and do that. Let's see here. Did he just say the SNES and Genesis was all about graphics? Is he high? I'm like, here's the thing. Like, he's not, like, when you look at the conversation around the SNES and the Genesis at the time, like with the people like really talking about it, it was literally just all about graphics. Like, you have to remember like how Sega marketed the Genesis, you know, with the blast processing, and you know, it's 16-bit, and the NES, like before the SNES came out, was 8-bit. Like, it was just about graphics for a lot of people. He's not wrong about that. Now, of course, the whole graphics thing carried on, you know, of course, into the 360 and the PS3, and then the PS4 and the Xbox One. But the Bit Wars, like, that was a highlight. That was definitely a highlight of that era.
I think the
like,
stream died, Stone.
No, it didn't die.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the stream. It didn't die.
Oh, okay. It was like the timestamp stopped scrolling forward for me for a second there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and let me go ahead and double check, I guess.
Okay, it was like the timestamp.
Okay, no, it's not done.
Okay.
I pressed enter too early. All about oh, okay. Pressed enter too early. Alright.
Game Star Dragon or Lovable Bandicoot, but there's been no such announcement, aside from a remaster of Crash Team Racing. You can do pretty incredible...
This was before, I think this was before, like, they announced, like, Crash 4, It's About Time.
Okay.
Okay, retard, bro, you're creepy. Bro, you... Yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not fucking doing that. Hold on a sec. Let me just go ahead and do that real quick. All right. I'm ready to play the new Metroid. Oh yeah, and of course. You know, of course I'm going to get Metroid Dread. Of course I'm gonna do that. Now I'm starting to freak out. Do something where it's just some person in the chat trolling, so whatever.
Oh my god, I
Huh?
love this custom Robo music. It's so fucking good. Had great music.
Semi-disc or maybe later. Right now I just want to do this.
Remake. Sometimes it turns an outdated game into something completely new, effectively remaking it to be as good as you thought it was back then. Remakes are a great way for new gamers to experience the magic of the past without the daunting task of playing something that looks like this. Or it can be a method for the developers to add onto their old project and give it some new bells and whistles. A remaster is capable of bringing old games up to speed with several quality of life changes and making it the definitive way to experience an old title. It can be pretty awesome when they port something to a newer console so that you don't have to buy an old expensive copy of it, like Symphony of the Night and other Castlevania games being ported to Xbox. That shit's cool. The problem arises when companies become more content to resell you their old games than they are to make new ones. It's become a meme how many different versions of Skyrim Bethesda has churned out. Legendary Edition, Skyrim Special Edition, Remastered, Skyrim on Switch, Skyrim now with mods, Skyrim for VR. In April 2013...
Okay, so... yeah, so okay, so that's what that's what his point was. I forgot like what he exactly said. But like relying on your old library rather than like trying to make something new. Like Konami barely does fucking anything now.
Okay.
Like Konami is bent on like, you know, re-releasing all their old shit, which is fine. But like after the Fanta, Metal Gear Solid 5, it's like they were just kind of like fucking done. They started turning a lot of their properties into pachinko machines,
Right.
which is unfortunate. So yeah, I mean, he's right there. And then, you know, of course, you know, the whole Bethesda meme of, you know, re-releasing Skyrim a fuck ton of times, and they're going to keep doing it. They keep saying, well, Bethesda moving on from Skyrim to new projects. Like, no, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep fucking doing it. I highly doubt that they're like done with Skyrim simply because for what it is.
Right.
Let's see, Square is expecting me to pay $65 for Final Fantasy game. I love that game, but that is insane. Are you serious? Square's charging $65 for like is that a new Final like I don't know anything about Final Fantasy. Is that like an older game or a new game? Like if it's
11.
Yeah, Konami loves pachinko. Yeah, they fucking do. Yeah, no, that's crazy, you know, and of course new games, you know, wanting to charge $70 or Nintendo charging $60 for Skyward Sword HD. I think that's egregious. Charging $60 for Mario 3D All-Stars, I thought that was egregious. And again, I'll get to that in a bit. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Konami loves their pachinko machines. Oh shit.
Bethesda announced via their blog that they were moving on from Skyrim and preparing to work on other projects. Yeah, that's a fucking laugh. Skyrim Pinball Edition. At moments, some remasters just bank off your nostalgia and try to parade their old game as something new by slapping an HD at the end of the title. All I'm saying is, there weren't a whole lot of remakes or remasters back on the N64, PlayStation, Xbox, PS2, or GameCube. And that's because they were focused on creating new games. In fact, I can only think of one remaster from those consoles, Conquer Live and Reloaded, which made the game look so freaking sexy. The visuals are still impressive to this day, and they even launched a brand new multiplayer mode that was just awesome. But nowadays, some remasters are just a shameless cash grab, where you can see a side-by-side comparison and notice no difference. But hey, at least they added some extra dirt on the glass for BioShock Remastered. Take my $40. Remember the original port of Dark Souls on Steam? Yeah, it was so fucking lazy and busted they didn't even swap out the button prompts from the Xbox 360 version. I mean, holy shit. And then From Software comes out with Dark Souls Remastered, an actual, real port of the game. And they charge people $40 to play Dark Souls with a revitalized PvP community. And even DS Remastered didn't bother to fix several game-breaking glitches, highlighted in this wonderful Inferno Plus video. Companies will also take it a step further. EA turned Dungeon Keeper into a blatant pay-to-win dumpster fire mobile game.
Don't remind me of that. Fuck. Fucking Dungeon Keeper was that was cursed. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got any comments so far on this one, Hate?
No, I haven't really played too many titles, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't really. I'll just kind of be more like, yeah, I mean that sounds pretty bad, but it's like, you know,
It's a lot of bad. I think it's a lot of bad. He's right that like you didn't see a lot of this shit back then, like, but again, like, as you know, as the industry has lived on, you know, companies find more ways to make money. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
I mean, if you want to say gaming companies are becoming more creatively bankrupt, then it's like, sure.
Yeah.
Activision only released Modern Warfare Remastered bundled with Infinite Warfare, but later added loot boxes and paid weapons into a game that didn't have those things in 2007.
Oh my fucking god. Oh, damn, that's so bad. It's so fucking bad, man. That's unbelievable that they would do something like that. But of course they did that. It's like adding that shit to Modern Warfare. Oh, damn. It hurts so much. It hurts so much.
Some games, Sleeping Dogs, Last of Us, will come out with a remaster 1 or 2 years after it released. You expect me to believe technology advanced so far in that time span that a 1-year-old game is now considered out of date? It's nice to improve a game's stability, frame rate, and resolution, but is all that really worth buying the exact same product again? My point is, a lot of companies aren't willing to take risks anymore. It's disheartening to remember a time when the original Xbox was a haven of original, awesome, exclusive titles, and now the Xbox One doesn't even seem to be competing. This trend of lazy remasters and remakes brings me to my next point. Chasing trends. Early access. Hey guys, please excuse the shitty quality of this section. My video is still in early access, and you can donate to my Patreon to help fund my willingness to sit at a computer and edit. In an effort to capitalize on whatever is currently most popular, plenty of game studios will just shamelessly rip off others or rush out some basic-ass shell of a game. Remember Lawbreakers? Man, didn't do so hot trying to copy Overwatch, so how about Boss Key Productions just copies Fortnite and PUBG and launch a shitty battle royale? That should bring in the money. Radical Heights, good god. Oh wow, this battle royale craze is really taken off. Let's release a brand new game that's completely fucked, abandon our old one, and alienate our fan base. The Culling 2 proved just how desperate some developers really are. Of course, it would take too much time and effort to fix PUBG before porting it to Xbox, so they just, oh my god, burn it. Burn it all. They somehow made it worse. It's kind of shocking how a company that made all the money in King Tut's castle didn't use any of it to improve the game. Instead, they just wanted more. And then Titanfall made advanced movement popular. Well shit, of course Call of Duty and Halo has to adapt that into their games, even if the developers don't understand what makes the movement good, even if it compromises the design style and identity of their franchises. Just copy it. I don't care if it works. If it's unintuitive, janky, and sucks ass, just copy them. Do what they're doing. A lot of these game series used to kind of just go their own way, and I miss that. The term early access has now been hijacked by companies who are too lazy to call their games complete, or admit they're never gonna finish them. It used to mean—
Oh, hold on a sec. Do you know what this is? Hey, The one I paused on?
No, I don't. Is that Fear?
Okay, no, that's a really
That's
like
Stalker?
no, it's a really shitty game called The Slaughtering Grounds that was on Steam. It was made by
Oh,
Digital
I mean,
Homicide. Like it was shovelware
my
that they
second guess, my second guess was ethnic cleansing.
yeah, you know what like you know what that is, right? Like with Digital
No, I don't
Homicide,
know
like
what it is.
okay, so this game like was made by Digital Homicide and they sued Jim Sterling like years ago. Um like there was a whole fiasco on that one and I'm like, but Digital Homicide like they aren't really a big company though, but I'm not sure about that one, but let's hear. Yes, I have 4 different versions of the first Dark Souls game. What do you mean I'm part of the problem? No, I don't think that's his point. I'm not sure. I don't think he's making the well, you bought Dark Souls about 4 times, so therefore you're complacent. Like I think that would be more of like in the complacency section, but in this case it's like when Dark Souls originally released on PC, it was shit. All right, and then they put out Dark Souls Remastered on Steam. Or the fact that like you're remastering a game like 2 years after it came out, which to me is weird. I don't know, man.
Here, let me tell you something, Stalin. If they re-released New Vegas on the Forza engine and kept all the other role-playing shit in there, you bet your ass people are gonna buy that shit.
Yeah.
I don't get what this guy's problem is. Honestly, if it came to something like that, it's like we get the best of both worlds. But that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
That's
it's more of a
people
point of
who
like
actually
laziness.
well, that's why people who actually care, and I'm talking about the fans of these games. I'm not even saying it's Obsidian's fault that they can't make another game. It's either they just don't want to, or Bethesda's a bunch of assholes and they're like, nah, you don't get to make another game.
Nah.
Have fun with other worlds.
Yeah, and then he gets into the basically ripping off mechanics from other games. That always frustrated me. It's like, you know, with Titanfall and
Okay,
like
well, it's like, are you really going to like fault fucking what is it like? I don't know, like GTA 4 for ripping off Super Mario Bros. Because it's got a fucking jumping mechanic.
no,
Like,
like
or how,
his
like, how
example
tedious it's like, who the fuck cares if it's got wall running? It's like, I can name you examples in, like, fucking zombies
no,
that had great wall
the
running.
problem is that like with the game like Halo 5, one of the biggest like mainstays of the game was like in its gameplay was like the movement options. And you're like, "Great. Nobody really fucking cares because it's already been like people have already played it like when Titanfall was being pushed on the because remember Titanfall was an Xbox exclusive for a time.
Yeah.
I think it was just an exclusive period.
I'm not
And then call it, you know, it was.
I have Titanfall on my computer
It was like on the Xbox One
for a while.
Yeah, and then like, you know, of course they put it on PC and whatnot. But anyways, and then, you know, Call of Duty did it with Advanced Warfare. And then Infinite Warfare, and then you had Halo 5. It's like, oh man, look at the fucking movement. I'm like, yeah, nobody gives a shit. Like you're not, you're making it less like Halo, and you're like looking at something else basically, and you're like, yeah, let's fucking do that. I'm like, no, that's not Halo. What are you doing? I don't think your example earlier of like, well, I mean, are they ripping off Mario because you can jump? I don't think that's the angle that he's going at. I think that's a little bit.
Well, it's following trends. I get what the point is here.
I think you're hitting like the wrong angle, but and then when he talks about like the battle royale, I mean, I can't really argue with that. Like the people cashing in on battle royale, like it was fucking.
It was a trend.
It was a trend.
It's like who's really at fault here? It's like if gaming companies didn't believe that people would follow trends, then they wouldn't do it. So I kind of blame these problems that he's bringing up. I kind of blame it more on people because like let me go back to like that horror YouTuber I was talking to you about. It's like she's like a really big fan of like the Resident Evil series, and you know she likes to talk about like how great the old games are and how fun they are, and talks about the story, and then she talks about the remasters, and it's like, well, I like this in comparison to that, but I don't like that they changed this and that and this and whatnot, you know, and this part here is cool, but I really wish that they kept it like the original. So it's a really big double-edged sword, and it's like I can't really fault companies for wanting to like remaster their games for fans of like the classics. I'm gonna go to bread.
Gonna go to
Okay.
bread. Okay, bye.
I mean, sure, you want to say it's like a false equivalence. It's like, sure, I'll give like the Halo example, but it's like Call of Duty 3 doing a bad take on that. It's like that's a bit of a false equivalence there. I can't speak for Halo 5, but I can definitely speak for Call of Duty 3. It's like I didn't really give a shit about the running mechanics, but I thought it was fun at the
What,
same
in Advanced
time.
Warfare?
Well, I didn't play Advanced Warfare. I played 3. I actually play good Call of Duty games.
Well, Call of Duty 3 is my favorite one, actually.
Well, no, I'm talking about Black Ops 3.
Oh, Black Ops 3? Oh, I feel bad for you.
What do you mean you feel bad for me?
No, I just, like, Black Ops 2 is where I fucking stopped.
Mm. Well, Black Ops 1 is where most people should have stopped.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
two's probably like Black Ops 2 is probably like the last one with like a decent story to it. It's like everything else is like
Mm.
copy it. I don't care if it works, if it's unintuitive, janky, and sucks ass. Just copy them. Do what they're doing. A lot of these game series used to kind of just go their own way, and I miss that. The term early access has now been hijacked by companies who are too lazy to call their games complete, or admit they're never gonna finish them. It used to mean you had early access to the game, and often it was like an indie title led by a small team that you understood didn't have the big budget some other games have and needed additional funding. But now all it means is the game is going to be a buggy mess and you can't be mad at them because hey, it's just in early access. Even if they make billions of dollars, Bluehole and Epic will continue to call Fortnite and PUBG early access titles. Then you got all those shitty ass zombie survival games. My buddy brought over 7 Days to Die one time, and after playing it for 5 minutes, I was like, dude, you got fucking scammed. You buy this shit from Jose in the back alley behind a strip club? Like, what the fuck is this? Once esports really started to take off, developers started...
Yeah, he's talking about shovelware. I don't like the way that he explains that. Because the biggest thing to bring up there is, like, Sony... I'm not sure about Microsoft, but definitely, like, Sony and Valve are, like, really guilty of letting shit flood their storefronts with just shitty shit. To the point, like, where, like, games are just unfunctional. Or just downright broken.
Well, yeah, I can't play GTA 4 properly.
Yeah, on Steam, right? Yeah, you can't, like,
Yeah.
the PC version doesn't exactly work very well. But
No.
yeah, it's
But
more than just that, or like, Nier Automata on Steam basically being broken, and it took them like a couple of years to fix it. Like, I think they released the patch not too long ago, and I guess it's playable. But that shit is just unacceptable. But
oh yeah, I told you about what happened to Fallout 3. Like you
can't even fucking
it's
play it.
unplayable. No, you can't because what is it? X Games for Windows Live doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, he's referring to shovelware on the markets, and
I don't know what that is.
shitty games that are like
Okay.
shitty games that are cheaper, like you can buy them for maybe like $5 to $20, and they're just absolute garbage. Like the argument of like lack of quality control, which Valve absolutely has. Valve just, like, especially with Steam Greenlight, and people were doing that, and then now like Greenlight is gone, and like I guess it's just easier to get on the storefront. There's a lot of shovelware just flooding Steam. Let's hear, Lord, what are you talking about? Mass Effect Andromeda was a masterpiece and not at all rushed out as a bait to make people subscribe to EA Origins pay screen.
I mean, I don't disagree there. It was like people always say it's like when Mass Effect turned bad was 2, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But that's like more of like a story thing, less of a gameplay thing. I definitely say that some of the gameplay in 3 downgraded a bit, and like the story wasn't that great, especially up until like the very end. But Andromeda tried doing something new, and I agree that it was rushed.
Like all of the babies.
But yeah, but I definitely said that fixed a majority of the problems Andromeda had gameplay wise, and it only took them
There's
like 6-7 months to do that.
Yeah, there's like Kai says like all the dating sims on Steam. There's so many like garbage shovelware dating sims on Steam. There's so much people like doing like there was a point where people on Steam like were, especially on Greenlight, they were taking like this Unity asset that was like, Minecraft like zombie survival thing, and these people like kept on trying to go on Greenlight with that asset, and trying to basically sell it to people like under a different name. It was still legal because they purchased the asset and they could do whatever they want with it, but they would just be selling Unity assets that they did nothing with, which did happen. And then you just have the shitty zombie survival games in general, like Kai said, dating sims. There's just so much shovelware, man. Also, of course, you can't forget about the Dark Souls ripoffs. Can't forget about the Dark Souls ripoffs.
I mean, I can't really argue with that. I mean, the postmodern Persona series is basically an overglorified dating sim. Fallout 4 is a dating sim.
Tailoring their games to be competitive. Everyone wanted their product to break into esports territory, and that can really mess with the project's vision. When all you're worried about is chasing the most popular trends and the cash flow, you get all these half-assed games releasing, and suddenly the desire to create something new is replaced with the desire to copy others.
Okay.
Games as a service, updates, online only, broken launches, etc. The ability to patch a game after its release was one of the biggest revolutions in game development, allowing teams to continue their work before going gold. Bug fixes, balance updates, and more were now possible. Even when a game comes out and you buy it on launch day, it has an update because the developers are still working on it after.
You know what? One really great thing I'll say about Mass Effect 3 is it had a fantastic multiplayer system in my eyes. And the biggest thing being all its online multiplayer DLC was free.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
They started shipping copies. Nowadays, you can fix, tweak, and save your ass as a developer with this luxury of post-launch support. Overwatch is a prime example of when it's utilized well. It needed several updates to become what it is today. Without them, most people would have gotten bored of the game. The idea of constantly adding new content and features to engage players and keep them coming back is good for both the gamers and the companies. However, it's when the games as a service philosophy starts enveloping every stage of design, when developers rely too much on fixing the game and adding to it after launch, that we see gaming decline. Halo 5 Guardians straight out the gate had like a 7-month plan of content. Why didn't you work that into the 3 years of development you had? You compare Spec Ops
or like, I'm not sure if you like, how much Halo did you play like back then?
Back then, absolutely none.
Okay. So one thing that he didn't mention there was one of the biggest things about like Halo that was introduced at 3 and then going.
I'm gonna be honest, Colin.
Huh?
I played more Killzone than I played Halo.
That's fair. But one of the biggest things in like Halo 3 and Reach was Forge, and Forge was basically like make your own maps. Okay?
Yeah.
Halo 5 did not come out with Forge. Like an integral part of the series at that point that people like loved to mess around with, and people were able to make machinimas like and whatnot. People fucking loved Forge, and then it wasn't there at release. Like that. What the hell? That's amazing to me.
Pretty shitty.
That's really shitty.
It's like, why take out a thing that like was good, it was popular?
It's like maybe you should like just wait until like you could put it in the game, or No Man's Sky. Guy mentioned No Man's. Oh god.
I wonder if they would have been more successful if they made like a purely like a Halo game that was like kind of more like a training Spec Ops like kind of Halo game style, where it's like every so often the developers will make their own like custom maps with like certain scenarios you can do and stuff like that. It's like a purely multiplayer game, and the community also has its own Forge mode,
Well, okay, so there was a little bit of that in Halo 4, and we don't talk about Halo 4.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like something where it's a dedicated like multiplayer based system.
I mean, you have that in Master Chief Collection. Like, there's a dedicated multiplayer base. Like,
Sure.
Master Chief Collection is awesome now. But when Master Chief Collection released, it was one of the worst launches ever. Like, the game just basically didn't function. It was hard to get into matches. It was terrible. And it took years for the game to be functional.
Okay.
I think he's going to mention that here in a little bit. But, yeah, I just wanted to throw
Yeah, but you get what my idea here is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's an interesting premise, and it's like, but then it falls into Axeman. Well, it's a sequel that's just kind of like, it doesn't really do anything new.
Ops in Modern Warfare 2 and 3, and there's no mistake that everybody prefers those versions to the 2019 version, where it now takes Infinity Ward 1 month to get 2 missions out. 10 years ago, they launched a game with 23 of them. The difference is crystal clear in how games are developed. You look at something like KOTOR 2, Halo 2, and Smash Bros. Melee. These games all had hellish development cycles that devoured the lives of the people working on them. These heroes sacrificed time with their families just to complete the game when it was supposed to be done, so that we, the consumers, got the best product possible. Despite the many bugs, glitches, and general lack of polish in these 3 highly anticipated sequels, they turned out phenomenal, because neither Obsidian, Bungie, or Nintendo could depend on simply fixing the game after the fact. Not having that luxury put the pressure on. Now with the luxury of post-launch support, compare the content from Halo 2 to the latest game, Guardians. At launch, Halo 5 had 4 game modes, the lowest in the series, and it took a whole year of updates to make Halo 5 a somewhat complete package. What Halo 2 accomplished in its 3 years of development back in 2004, Halo 5 needed an extra year after it was already out in 2015. But this isn't just exclusive to Halo, it happens to every game series, where the gears stop turning and something as simple as launching a game in a playable state becomes an urban legend, a myth. Bad Company 2 launches perfectly and works fine. Then DICE drops Battlefield 3, 4, and Battlefront 2.
I remember that glitch, dude. That was hilarious. But it was broken. God, okay.
Which all had nightmarish issues and simply didn't work. It gets so ridiculous to the point where you wonder if the games they put out are actually illegal because the product doesn't work as advertised. Then you got something like COD World War II, where even the menus didn't work. You look at how Mass Effect 1 came out back in 2007, pretty damn good. Mass Effect Andromeda 10 years later somehow looked worse and was a glitch-ridden disaster. Diablo 1 and 2.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I mostly blame that on the engine. Like, the people making that game, like the people at fucking Montreal, these were the guys who made the multiplayer for 3. They were a small ass development company for BioWare Montreal. And they had, what is it? I want to say like 18 months, 20 months to make a new Mass Effect game on the fucking what is the Blizzard engine? I forget what it is. The engine where if you make a small mistake, it really, really shows. That's at least 50 hours long, and you know, it's like they had to cut corners. It's like, and it's like I still play it now, and it's like it's still pretty alright. It's
But the point that he's making though is like,
yeah, no, it came out, it was bad, but it's like you need to look at this. It's like they were dealing with a terrible engine, limited development time, and this was a small ass development company. It's like it's an apples and oranges comparison. It's like I get what he's saying, but it's like that's a false equivalence.
It's more of like it would have been better off if he just like.
It's like look back then it looked good. It's like
it's the
yeah, no, but it's like, well, yeah, sure, it's EA. EA is evil. Yeah, we got that already. Like, they're the ones who fucking shit can Wasteland 3. It's like, fuck them. And it's the thing I'm trying to get here at is it's like, well, yeah, look at this game that had the full attention and resources of like BioWare's best crew. And I mean, this was before, I'm pretty sure this was before Dragon Age Origins came out. It was the love child between the old and the new, and it was one of the best damn games I've ever played. Mass Effect was like the last RPG of the Mass Effect series, gonna be honest. Yeah, I know, it got a lot more streamlined, but I'm not really complaining. It's like 2 was like a fucking masterpiece. I don't know what the fuck people are bitching about. And then 3 had great multiplayer. So it's like, it's not really a very good transition. It's like you're saying that, like, well, look at the first game, and then it's like, okay, but what about the games in between them? It's like you can't tell me that, like, oh, it's been a steady ship sailing, and then all of a sudden, 2015, Mass Effect Andromeda comes out, and it's a shit show. It's like, well, why was it a shit show? It's like you're getting to the why of it,
it's
but
EA being EA, like.
yeah, but
It's like not giving the
that's
devs enough
a
time.
simplistic version here. It's like you could chop it all down to that, but it's like there's a lot more to it than just that. We've already explained here that, like, well, apparently a limited development time isn't a good enough excuse if games like Halo 2 like suffered from the same problem and they turned out pretty great. I don't know.
Absolute masterpieces. Diablo 3 is coming out. People have been waiting over a decade to experience this game. It releases an Error 37. You can't play the game until Blizzard figures their shit out. Then you had Dead Island, where the developers completely fucked up and released the wrong version of the game. How does that happen? SimCity was
I remember that. He released the wrong version of the game.
I remember one poor motherfucker got, I think, Mass Effect 3, and then they got a copy of Mass Effect 2 for some reason.
Oh, God.
made to be always online, except you couldn't connect to EA's shitty-ass servers. Batman Arkham Knight was knowingly pushed out onto PC despite the publishers knowing it was a terrible port with horrific frame rate issues. I'm not saying every game from the glory days launched in a perfect state, but these unplayable disasters happened far less frequently, and at the time, I was way more forgiving of them. And then we arrive at the Master Chief Collection, which was a testament to just how broken you could release a game and somehow not be investigated by the Better Business Bureau. This atrocity was so unplayable, I'm surprised there was no class action lawsuit filed. The new cutscenes by Blur were jaw-dropping, but it's hardly any consolidation when nothing worked.
That's how bad it was, dude. It was so bad. It was a disaster. God. I get... Fuck. It was a pain. I don't think you understand the pain hate.
I think I somewhat understand.
The pain. Yeah, no, I think you do.
It doesn't take enough. There's not enough God in that dude's like profile picture there to save him from what's about to happen.
12 out of 10.
Menus were fucked. Game glitches everywhere. Impossible to find games. Ranking system constantly resetting. 343 needed like 3 or 4 years to make MCC a consistently playable game. 3 to 4 years after I bought the game, I was finally able to play it the way they promised I could.
So Halo 2 Anniversary will contain the original Halo 2 multiplayer exactly as it shipped 10 years ago.
Though this is a subjective point, take a look at these MMORPGs. World of Warcraft changed the gaming landscape as we knew it and really gave rise to the games as a service philosophy with monthly subscriptions, new expansions. It was a nice source of cash flow, and for players that enjoyed the game, it was the greatest thing ever. WoW has been consistently supported for like 15 years, and that's great. But here's an important point hardly ever mentioned. Warcraft as a series has been an MMORPG longer than it has been a real-time strategy. Despite 3 games with multiple expansions, the reason Warcraft 4 does not exist is because WoW does. Similarly, the reason why Knights of the Old Republic 3 does not exist is because the Old Republic does. Elder Scrolls 6 does not exist yet because they've been working on Elder Scrolls Online. For better or worse, these incredible series of games have
Well, I'm gonna be fair. Tor is KOTOR 3. Like, it was supposed to be, like the story of KOTOR 3 it was basically the story of Tor, except the Sith were supposed to be like totally different, and more like how Kreia described it is that like the Sith were coming to basically not conquer the galaxy, but siphon the Force and all life from the galaxy. It's like it was a real like game changer. I mean, I don't disagree with his point, but it's like there never was going to be a KOTOR 3. It was always just Tor was going to be KOTOR 3, and it was going to wrap up all the loose ends from KOTOR 1 and 2. That's it.
Yeah, now you mentioned Elder Scrolls Online. I guess
Yeah.
I forgot if he even mentioned it in this video, but
Yeah.
I think Elder Scrolls 6 probably would have maybe not have been out now, but maybe a little bit more, you know, we would know about it if Elder Scrolls Online didn't exist.
Here's the thing, Stalin.
But then again,
the reason,
but Elder Scrolls Online is more like ZeniMax geared, isn't it? Though.
yeah, the thing is that what really attracts people to Elder Scrolls, I mean, besides the gameplay,
Skyrim
is the lore. And when you have a game that takes place like way before, like the first 5 games all take place somewhere within like the near end of the third era, all the way up to like 200 years after the end of the third era into the fourth era. Like this happened all the way back in the second era, and it's like people want to see what Tamriel was like back then, but also like get more lore on the various races, you know, and groups of people. It's, you know, they like to see that shit. It's really what gets the lore nerds Jimmy's rock hard, you know.
Jimmy's.
Converted to the games as a service philosophy. They've turned their backs on their roots. EA is infamous for shutting down several game studios, including Visceral, who were working on a single-player Star Wars game. But because single-player games can't really be made into a service, EA saw this venture as not as profitable and shut it down. It's actually surprising when something like Jedi Fallen Order comes out with no caveats and is a genuinely great game. But in the 6 or so years EA has had the rights to Star Wars, this is the first single-player game they've put out. Flashback to the early 2000s, oh baby, Jedi Academy, Republic Commando, KOTOR 1 and 2, Episode 3 game, Lego Star Wars, Bounty Hunter, Obi-Wan, Force Unleashed, Battlefront 1 and 2, Empire at War. Star Wars games were off the fucking hook, but EA is just complacent now. We live in a time where the updates a game goes through are more impactful than the actual release. And it's this ship it now, fix it later mentality that is allowing companies to churn out so many titles that suck straight ass when they come out. A video game should never be a gamble where the consumer doesn't know if it's gonna function or not. Corporatization.
Okay, but here's the thing, like every single game is a fucking gamble. It's like you could make like one of like the best games ever in your mind and you put all the effort into it and people buy it and they don't like it. And it's just because it's just like it's time, man. It's like people
I don't think
it can depend on like the
he's
public
explaining these properly.
Well, no, it's like making a game, Stalin, is like making a movie. It's like a fucking investment, and every investment you make is going to be a fucking gamble. It's like I don't really want to use Halo as an example, but it's like you know what the real reason why it was popularized back in the early 2000s, right?
What, 1 and 2?
Well, yeah, but do you know why?
I mean, I guess tell me.
It's post 9/11.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that that's really the big motivators for like the sort of dynamic between like the Earth military versus the Covenant is that it's basically the U.S. versus the Israelis.
Absolutely fucking not.
I cannot begin to.
That is actually the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Is this real? Like, are you joking?
Yeah. No, I'm not joking.
What?
That's why I said I'd hate to use that as a comparison, but it's like that's what I've heard before.
No, absolutely wrong. Like that also, like, what are the floods supposed to be at that point? What?
Well,
Oh
I
my
can't
God.
really say it's the poppy fields.
No, that's absolutely wrong. I have no idea where the
I
hell
don't know.
that
Maybe
came
they
from.
just needed a third group of enemies to shoot at, but it's like it was definitely the Israelis versus the U.S. Man, come on,
No.
come on, come on.
Monetization, anti-consumer. Probably the worst thing about the decline of gaming is the corporatization of it. The game industry is becoming more and more controlled by some board of directors who don't see this hobby as you or I do. They aren't thinking, how can we make the best game possible? How can we make our fans happy? They're thinking, how can we make the most money with the least amount of effort? There are investors to please, deadlines to meet. Game development used to be just a bunch of nerds pooling their talents and creativity to make something incredible, something they would want to play. Corporatization has been sucking the life and soul out of gaming, and this is illustrated by the complete lack of originality in the cover art of games. Check out this video by Nakey Jakey, it's really good, but it showcases a greater point: the lack of soul. It'd be foolish to condemn all pre-order bonuses, microtransactions, DLC, etc., because only a Sith deals in absolutes. But you're the consumer. What do you want? Do you want cool, meaningful, cosmetic unlockables that showcase your accomplishments? Okay, what's the ideal way for the player to unlock them? Ask yourself this question first. Is this good for the player? Is it good for the player to unlock gameplay-altering abilities or cosmetic items in monetized randomized loot boxes? Is that a form of progression and unlocks that is beneficial to the player? Of course not. So why do companies include it? Because the well-being of the consumer and the quality of the experience is secondary to what's most profitable. Back during the 360, PS3, and Wii generation, players noticed there was a lot more downloadable content than the previous generation. In fact, the GameCube didn't even connect to the internet. But now it seems like loot boxes are far more numerous. That's because companies realized DLC was only a one-time purchase. But what if there was a way to turn players into payers? Consistently doing that would yield high results. Then you got all those season passes where companies want you to put up $50 based on a promise. As video games become more and more expensive to make, the price of a new release has stayed the same for decades. And while any business, big or small, needs to make a profit, the lengths some companies go to monetize their games is absurd. Sometimes being so greedy to the point where they will compromise the design of their game. 343 and Creative Assembly went so far in this direction, crafting a mode specifically to integrate loot boxes into Halo Wars 2 and create a pay-to-win model. Madden and FIFA Ultimate Teams. Wow, those are so cool, ruined by pay-to-win loot boxes. Battlefield 1 and 4 offering literal shortcuts through the progression system. Think about that for a second. The designers created the system of XP, how it is earned, how much it takes to unlock things, and then decided to monetize a way for players to skip it entirely. Bungie literally cutting and reselling parts of Destiny 1 and 2 as DLC.
Yeah, I mentioned that one earlier.
Yep.
On the disc. On the damn disc. Okay, yeah, I know we were going along there, but it's like, there's really not much to object to. Like, yeah, there's... I mentioned this, like, at the beginning of, like, you know, before the stream went down. Yeah, like, companies over time, like, it's much more corporate now. It was corporate then, but it's much more corporate now as companies figure out ways to monetize their games more and, you know, make it more profitable. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong here. I think this is probably, like, the least objectionable. Like, this is just common sense at this point. But then again, like, you know, people keep buying it and, you know, it's a whatever. Fuck me, am I right? Oh,
Yep.
shit.
Making shaders consumable so players will have to buy them again was not a decision made for the benefit of the player. Forza 5 offering just as many payable cars as ones you earn in-game. The list of DLC for The Sims alone is fucking staggering. Middle-earth Shadow of War, a single-player game, chose the loot box method of delivering rewards to players. Dead Space 3 interrupting the game to ask you to buy more parts. Train Simulator 2015 offering over $4,000 of DLC. Purchasable weapons in Black Ops 4 giving people an advantage. Microsoft charging you to remove ads on Solitaire. Fucking microtransactions in Solitaire. Then for some games, it can get so bad that functional microtransactions become more important than a functional game. I couldn't get into matches in COD World War II when it came out, but you bet your ass I could buy loot boxes. And then Fallout 76. Wow. Easily one of the most embarrassing, blatant, empty cash grabs the industry has ever seen. Do you, as a player, want to have sections of the video game you bought sealed into randomized crates that are paid for with real money? Hell no. There's always a better alternative. Titanfall 2 is the shining example. It might not make the most money, but there's no bullshit involved. What you see is what you get, and the game isn't any worse or better off because of it. Companies have tried seemingly every slimy, underhanded tactic to get you to pay just a bit more. Metal Gear Survive had the audacity to charge people $10 for an extra save slot. In Modern Warfare 2, you had to grind for those extra custom class slots. But in recent games, you could just buy them. Like, is that where we're at now? Valve and Bluehole opened up avenues to skin betting, selling and trading with other players, which leads to gambling websites and the notorious shitlords like Team Martin and Pro Syndicate trying to make money off this infamous CSGO lotto scandal. The increasingly aggressive monetization of video games had gotten so out of hand that it attracted the attention of several world governments. I mean, if you look at those leaked patents by Activision, it tells you everything. The intent is right there. Adhering to these patents, they want to make you as addicted as possible to spending money. They want to control you. That's why Bungie decided to throttle how much XP you got. I bet they wouldn't have done that if they weren't trying to sell me bright engrams. The decline in gaming has manifested in so many different ways, and it hurts to talk about. The game industry I knew and loved has just gotten complacent with lazy titles, trend-chasing garbage, half-assed remasters, corporatization, over-monetization, and a lack of drive to create something new. Games as a service and early access become crutches for developers to lean on, and when fans get upset at how dysfunctional and empty their latest release is, or wonder why game-breaking issues continue to exist, they use early access or "we're working on it" as their shield. Don't get me wrong, the good stuff is still out there, but you have to find it amongst all the noise. But with all this shit that's changed for the worse in gaming, it's starting to feel like a soulless assembly line production, and the way companies treat their consumers is making me lose faith in this industry. And that is how gaming has declined.
I mean, I agree. Biggest thing was just, blatant, monetization, and, that's just gotten objectively worse over time.
Yeah.
I would say yes. I mean, to the title of the video, I think games have declined, but I mean, there's still good stuff out there at bare minimum. I'll definitely say like for people to stop supporting this crap, but we all know that's not going to happen. All you have to do is just look at, game companies hitting record high revenues every single year. I don't think it's going to change. Like, we're getting to the point where, you don't even own the game anymore. We're going to cloud services. Xbox is doing Game Pass. You don't own anything anymore. It's terrible.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's like, the way I look at it is like, I agree that like the decline of like new recent gaming has been in a decline, but it's like you still have the old shit though. It's like that's not going away.
Yeah,
It's
but now you get into like the problem of the degradation of hardware. Like a lot of people's old Xboxes, NES, like they're dying. And people are looking to emulation, to to basically play those old games. And people are worried if you already are aware of Nintendo's war against emulation and how much they don't care about game preservation.
right.
That's horrific. Like on their website, like they literally have an FAQ on there. Where like, okay, what if I want to, like, where can I, like, play older, like, Nintendo products? And they'll literally say, like, yeah, like, you can go to, like, sites like eBay, to find, old Nintendo stuff. I'm like, yeah, like, Custom Robo. I'm sure people want to pay $100 for Custom Robo. on GameCubes that are degrading with their, like, you know, their lasers being faulty over time and whatnot. I'm sure people are going to want to do that, you know, and have, like, you know, no incentive to play it on the Switch because there is nothing on the Switch to play for GameCube other than Mario Sunshine on Mario 3D All-Stars, which is emulated. It's not like a direct port of the game. And it has frame rate drops on the Switch. Like, absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's my thoughts on that.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's kind of a good thing why I've gotten out of gaming for the most part. It's just kind of like, for the most part, it's like I just got other shit to do in my life. Not like I disagree or anything. It's just kind of like it's other shit to do, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna close the page now. But I mean, yeah, that's why I just play older games. It's the same to see like newer games like this. I rarely play newer games in comparison to me playing older ones. But you know, I'm a collector. But
I mean, I would have given Ackman a round of applause if he actually used the Shin Megami Tensei as an example for like sequels and like properties gone way over proportion. It's like, okay, look at this, Stone. So, what is it? The original SMT, I think, came back in like. Oh shit! Let me look at this real quick. You go ahead, and then I'm gonna find this real quick.
I mean, I guess we're just done like looking at the video.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess with the stream. All right. I guess I'm gonna cut the stream off there.
Well, no, I just wanted to find this real quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess then we'll do
I wanted to see when these games came out because I'm not like a fucking loose at this shit. So this is all the SMT games that came out. So the original shit. Oh wait, no. Let's go even further back. Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei came out in 1987, and then Megami Tensei 2 came out in 1990. Then Shin Megami Tensei came out in 1992.
Yep.
Shin Megami Tensei 2 came out in 1994. Shin Megami Tensei IF came out in 94. Jack Bros in 95. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor came out, or Devil Summoner came out in 95. Devil Summoner in 97. Shin Megami Tensei 9 came out in 2020. Digital Survivor came out in 2004. Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 2 came out in 2005. Devil Summoner came out in 2006. Shin Megami Tensei Imagine came out in 2007. Devil Summoner came out,
That's a
Shin
lot.
Megami Tensei Devil Survivor came out in 2009. Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey came out in 2009. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2 came out in 2011. And we're missing like the Persona shit real quick. But Persona 3, Persona 1. Oh, okay. Shit, I missed this. But yeah, let's just keep going. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor.
There's so many. Why the fuck is
Survivor
this?
2 came out in 2011. Shin Megami Tensei 4 came out in 2013. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax came out in 2013. That's not Shin Megami. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse came out in 2016.
Okay, but what's the point though, Hate?
That there's a lot of fucking games that are like Shin Megami Tensei games, man. Like, we're not even talking about like the Persona games. It's like now you got Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux 2018, Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight 2018, Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight 2018.
Final Fantasy.
Now we got Shin
17
Megami Tensei 5 in 2021.
We have Final Fantasy 17 Part 3.5. I don't know at this point with that.
39 years of a video game series, Stalin. It has had a healthy progression of sequels.
Oh god, okay. Well, yeah, you're not wrong about that. Alright.
Don't tell me to stop, Clown Teeth. I could keep going. You want me to go find the other SMT games? I'm gonna go find
Nope, I'm gonna end the stream. That's what I'm gonna do. No more of that. Alright, but yeah, that was a bit of a hefty stream, but no, I wanted to talk about something like that. Yeah, I think games are degraded in quality, maybe not in the best way that Ackman would explain it, but like, play older games. Older games are better.
SMT Revelations Persona